Today we're going to talk about another note-taking technique, and this is called a prediction chart. There are 3 steps, again, to the prediction chart. Step 1 is right here. It says pre-reading. Step 1 is pre-reading. Survey the titles, heading, and subheadings to create a question using who, what, when, where, how, and why. Use 1 question per line. So what we do is we take a look at the article and we look for headings, subheadings, titles. So the title of this one is Desperate Journeys. And our first question would have to do with that, okay? And I'm going to go through all of these, but this is where we're looking. We're looking for bolded headings. We're going to make questions out of these. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that. Step 2, both of these steps are done prior to actually reading the text. I want you to be thinking about that. When you're making a prediction, you're thinking about what is this article, story, chapter, whatever it is that you're going to be reading, what's it going to be about? See if you can make any connections to your schema, any of your prior knowledge about the subject that you may already have. So what do you think it's going to be about based off of what you already know? Okay, again, this is done before you actually read the article. First 2 things we do is we create a question over here. We guess an answer to that question here based off of our prior knowledge and anything we may know about it so far. If you really don't have an answer for that section, you may have to just say, I don't know, I need to read because I don't have prior information on this subject area. And then in the third step is when we are actually taking notes on what we're reading. So we're going to look at the question that we wrote and try our best to answer it after reading that section in this part right here. Okay, so if you were correct in your guess, you can say, my guess was right, and then add a little bit more to that to elaborate on why your answer was correct. So let's first start off with creating a question. Now you want to focus on these questions, or these question starters, the who, what, when, where, how, and why. Now how and why are more critical thinking question starters. They'll get you, it's not just the other ones are called concrete answers. So what were they doing? Where were they doing it? Things like that. You can answer that. You can say, oh, this happened in Honduras. And it doesn't really require a lot of critical thinking. You can find the answers within the text. But if you ask why, for example, why was this a desperate journey? Okay, that's going to take a little bit more where you're reading the text and talking about why they're saying this was a desperate journey. So let's start off by looking at our title and creating a question out of that. So the title is called Desperate Journeys. So I'm just going to say, why are people taking this desperate journey? I'll change that to these desperate journeys. It says journeys, so. Okay. Then I'm going to look for, before I start answering the questions, I want to go through and create all of my questions first. For me personally, that just works better because I know then it lets me preview the entire article and create questions, and it gets me thinking about everything that could possibly be in it. If you would like to make these a little bit bigger, just so you see them, they stand out a little bit more. You don't have to make your question super small. It might leave a little bit more room for your answers being tinier. So we're going to come down here and the next subheading is crackdown on immigration. So you can choose a different question starter. You can stay with why. You can choose whichever one you want, but I'm going to say how has there been a crackdown on immigration? And again, I'm going to make that a little bit bigger just because I like to see them and remember what I'm asking about. Okay, so there's my first two questions. And I'm going to go back to the article and go down a little bit more. Now these here are just outtakes from the text. So that's something that stands out and that's something they want you to recognize, but it's not what this part is about. It's written about in here. Okay. So the first page we had the desperate journeys and crackdown on immigration. And we're going to go down here and smugglers on Facebook. So let's see what that is. We'll come up with a question for that. And then I'm going to just say, who are the smugglers on Facebook? Now, for those of you who would rather handwrite your notes, please know that I'm showing you this as typed notes because it's the way I can show you on the computer and record it. But personally, myself, I might type my questions just because I can have them both open here at the same time. But I would go in and handwrite my answers and then take a picture of that and upload it to Canvas, or I just like handwriting my notes. Some people hate handwriting because they don't have good handwriting. So either way is fine. This is something you need to determine for yourself which works better for you. Either handwriting or typing is fine for me. Okay. And then let's see. Um, there's this also, and I think that this is important. This is a very good add value. So I am going to put this as my next question. What they're trying to leave behind, and I'm just going to add in what are they trying to leave behind. And I don't care if you fix the capital letters and all of that stuff on this, especially these are your notes. So don't feel like you have to leave them a certain way, like make everything look super perfect. These are notes for you. Okay, so hold on, I'm going to add in one more. And insert. Um, that's not what I'm going to do. Okay, for the sake of time, I don't want to do that right now. Pretend there's another line here. I'm going to add in my other question. Um, the last question that we have to worry about here is trying again and again. Okay, and I'm guessing that's going to be a who, just based off of what it seems the article is talking about. So we can say, I'm going to say, why are they trying again and again? Okay, since that's what it is, and I'm just, again, you kind of can guess what the article is a little bit about, and that's the whole point of this exercise is making predictions. Um, if we go through and we answer these questions, it starts getting our mind thinking and connecting to what the text is going to be about. Again, I haven't read any of this yet, so this is on purpose because I don't want to know the answers as I type in my predictions. Okay, so now we're not looking at the article anymore right now. We don't need to. We're just going to go in and kind of guess some answers to these questions. So why are people taking these desperate journeys? My guess on this, I'm going to put a star since it is a guess. Well, they give me a bullet point. That works too. Okay, this is my guess. Why are people taking these desperate journeys? And I'm guessing people are leaving their homes because they are desperate for a better life free from poverty and hunger. When you look at this giant mass of people and just the title, desperate, if someone's desperate, it means they're, in need of something. They are very unhappy. So desperation can be drastic, and this looks drastic to me. That's thousands and thousands of people. Okay, so now I'm going to guess my second question. How has there been a crackdown on immigration um, in the U.S.? Um, President Trump. Oops. Um, Okay, so in the US, President Trump has been adamant about cracking down on immigration to protect our borders. He has wanted to build a wall, among other strategies. I don't know if that's what this is about, but that's what I know has been discussed here a lot. And whether you agree or disagree with that, that's what we know about it. So that's my guess, and I don't know if that's the right answer or not. Who are the smugglers on Facebook? My guess is that. Um, That my guess is that smugglers on Facebook are people who will take money to get someone into another country. Again, I don't know if that's true or not from this article. So, what are they trying to leave behind? Again, my guess is poverty, um, hunger, poor living conditions. All of those go hand in hand, but I'm just trying to give a little bit, more here. And then the final question for us to make our prediction about is why are they trying again and again? And my guess is because they're desperate. So I wrote, because they are desperate for a better life and feel the only way to achieve this is through immigration to another country. Okay, so normally I would have a line there, but for the sake of time, since this isn't as big as it normally is. I can't see it as well as I'd like to. I just put an extra space there, and that's fine if that's what you need to do also. Um, Now, the third step, remember, we didn't read the article, we just glanced through it. We have an idea. We know that this um, article is about desperate journeys. I tried not to look too much at the maps and different things to know where the people were coming from just to get, I just wanted to look at the title and the headings and things like that just to get an idea that way. Now I might look at some more of these. Oh, look, and it does say build the wall. Um, so I guess that, that might have something to do with the answers that we got. Um, and now what I would do is I'm not going to show you this because that would take too long. This is just to show you how to do it. The next thing I would do would be to go back through and read all of this and add in extra notes. Okay, now what is this section about? Did I get it all right? Or what other meaningful information can come out of this? Okay. Um, Same thing for each section. These are your areas for taking notes. If you want them to be a little bit bigger, you can change the lines. We don't have as much information in these spaces, so if you need more space for your notes, just make these a little bit bigger, or I mean make these a little bit smaller so that your writing space over there is bigger. And you don't have to change it at all, but it does make it a little bit nicer for taking notes over there. So that is it for how to do a prediction chart. Again, just like last time, the next step will be for you to read, it'll be a different article, so that you can create your own questions and guesses, and then you will do an assignment just like this, filling out your own prediction chart. Thank you.